Yeah. Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. You want me to start, is it?
Yes, Prabhu.
Oh, I can do it for you, Prabhu. You'll read the Bhagavad Gita because I have to go somewhere.
Yeah, okay. No problem, Levan, Prabhu. You can also do. No problem.
Yes, yes, Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadanti Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri. Oh no. Can I start from here, Prabhu? I actually made a mistake. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Dadantisva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakachatam Sahagana Raguna Vitam Tam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanam Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vitam Kampitam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastute Tap Tap Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishware Vrishabhanu Sutu Devi Pranamari Hare Pre Vancha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavevacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminite Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Okay.
Haribol, Prabhu.
We
I actually thought I skipped some line, Prabhu, and I was actually going to the correct line.
which one, Prabhu?
Like Vandeham. I thought it was in the last part. I don't know why. Vandeham Shri Guru. Do you see the second? I think it's the second paragraph. Oh, Prabhu, can I read one and leave then?
Yes, Prabhu. You cannot leave, Prabhu.
I just want to go somewhere, Prabhu. And I'm connected to my Wi-Fi, by the way.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Cake, Prabhu.
Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra Samaveda Yud Savaha. Is this the one that I should chant? Haribol.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, this one. Please go ahead.
Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam tu te Guyatmam Pravakshami Anasuyave Gyanam Vigyana Sahitam Gyana Jadva Mokshaye Subat. Is it Subat? Prabhu, can you do the honors of chanting it correctly? I pronounced some words wrong there. Maharaj Prabhu, or Semi Prabhu, Pranjal Prabhu, Gora Shakti Prabhu.
All right. Shri Bhagavan Ovacha Idam tu te guhyatamam ahujan. All right. Pravakshyami anashuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam Yat gyatva mokshase shubhat.
Prabhu,
That is also not nice, but somewhat I tried.
that was
Rhymes
perfect, Prabhu.
better than mine. 100% better than mine. Synonyms. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Idam, this, to, but, there, unto you. Guya Atta, is it Guya Atta Mam? Most confidential, Praviksha, me, I am speaking. Anasu Yahweh, to the non-envious, Gyanam, knowledge. Vigyanam, realized knowledge. Sahitam, with. Yat, which. Jadva, is it Gyadva, knowing. Moksha, say, be released. Asubahat, from this miserable material existence. Translation. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this. I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As a devotee hears more and more about the Supreme Lord, he becomes enlightened. This hearing process is recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The messages of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are full of potencies, and these potencies can be realized if topics regarding the Supreme Godhead are discussed amongst devotees. This cannot be achieved by the association of mental speculators or academic scholars, for it is realized knowledge. The devotees are constantly engaged in the Supreme Lord's service. The Lord understands the mentality and sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him the intelligence to understand the science of Krishna in the association of the devotees. Discussion of Krishna is very potent, and if a fortunate person has such association and tries to assimilate the knowledge, and then he will surely make advancements towards spiritual realization. Lord Krishna, in order to encourage Arjuna to higher and higher elevation in his potent service, describes in this chapter 9 matter more confidential than any he has already disclosed. Wait, confidential than any he has already disclosed. Okay. The very beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, is more or less an introduction to the rest of the book. And in the second and third chapter, the spiritual knowledge described is called confidential. Topics discussed in the 7th and 8th chapters are specifically related to devotional service, and because they bring enlightenment in Krishna consciousness, they are called more confidential, but the matters which are described in the 9th chapter deal with unalloyed pure devotion. Therefore, this is called the most confidential. One who is situated in the most confidential knowledge of Krishna is naturally transcendental. He has no material pangs. Although he is in the material world, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, it is said that although one who has a sincere desire to render loving service to the Supreme Lord is situated in the confidential state of material existence, he is to be considered liberated. Similarly, we shall find in the Bhagavad Gita 10th chapter that anyone who is engaged in that way is a liberated person. Now, this first verse has specific significance. Knowledge, idam gyanam, refers to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, or can I make a screenshot? Hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshiping, praying, obey. Yeah, Prabhu, I wanted to ask this question. What is the difference between worshiping and praying? Like, isn't okay worship because, yeah, or worshiping is the same as praising? Worshiping,
No,
praying,
praying is
isn't it
different.
about
Yeah.
No, praying is different because you see, praying is like, oh my Lord Krishna, can you please do this? Can you please help me advance spiritually? Worshipping is actually deity worship, like that.
no, yes, yes.
Yeah. Pranjal Prabhu, you can scroll a little bit slow, so even I can read. Pranjal Prabhu, every line you read, he'll scroll quickly. Please scroll a little bit
Yeah.
slow, Pranjal Prabhu. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Pranjal Prabhu ki jai.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
should I
Prabhu, please
continue?
Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Worshipping, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, and surrendering everything. By the practice of these 9 elements of devotional service, one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. At the time when one's heart is scared of the material contamination, one can understand this science of Krishna simply to understand that a living entity is not material, living entity is not material, is not sufficient. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization. But one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and spiritual activities, by which one understands that he is not the body. The difference between activities of the body and the spiritual activities, by which one understands that he is not the body. Yeah, remember there was a line of Srila Prabhupada saying you should choose between which one is the main cause, your spiritual realization or your material activities. In the 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, these different energies, the inferior and superior natures, and all this material manifestation. Now in chapter 9 and 10, the glories of the Lord will be delineated. The Sanskrit word anasuyave in this verse is also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavad Gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna. Their commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. Prabhu, is it the same words that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to, I think it was Bhattacharya, who was I think he was explaining to the Lord for like a week about the Sankhya knowledge philosophy. And then he said all the commentaries are because of the, what do you call this? What they feel instead of what is there, what is true. Hello, are you all absent Prabhus today? What's happening today? Haribol.
No, Prabhu.
Do you remember it, Prabhu?
Which one, Prabhu?
I was saying like it's like the what do you call this? The spiritual masters, the so-called spiritual masters, not the bona fide ones. The ones who write their own interpretations. Is it the same? Is this line the same as when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Bhattacharya? I think it was Bhattacharya.
I
Not
don't
sure,
remember.
Prabhu. Not sure,
We
Prabhu.
can't
Maybe
know.
I don't know. I don't know also. Maybe we can
Yes.
search later after reading. I'm not sure.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu. The commentaries are useless. Okay, the commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna. If he is envious, one who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. So such commentaries should be carefully avoided for one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality. These chapters will be very beneficial.
Haribol.
You can continue now, Haribol.
Now you want me to continue, Prabhu?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you very much for reading, Prabhu. So, Pranjal, Prabhu,
Haribol.
please scroll slowly, Prabhu. I read very slowly, so yeah. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Midamuttamam Pratyakshavagamam Dharmam. Ah, man, what? Pratyakshavagamam. Is it Pratyakshavagamam? Pratyakshavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartamavyayam. Sorry for the very bad reading.
Where is this translation, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Wait, which verse is it? Chapter 9, verse 2, right?
Yes,
Chapter
Prabhu.
You
9.
remind me of Brija
Chapter
Kishora
9, verse
Prabhu.
2. Brajakishore Prabhu did this, right?
Yeah,
Chapter
that's
9,
actually
verse
remind
2.
chapter 9, verse 26, something like that.
Yeah. Raja Vidya, the king of education. Raja Guhyam, the king of confidential knowledge. Pavitram, the purest. Idam, this Uttamam, transcendental. Pratyaksha, directly experienced. Avagamam, understood. Dharmyam, the principle of religion. Suzukam, very happy. Kartum, to execute. Avyayam, everlasting. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hari Om. Translation. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. Purport. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. Hmm. There are 7 principal philosophers in India: Gautama, Kannada, Kapila, Yajnavalkya, Shandila, Vaishvanara, and finally Vyasadeva, the author of Vedanta Sutra. So, there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now, the Lord says that this 9th chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of Vedas and different kinds of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the. You can scroll down, Prabhu. The difference between the body and the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Generally, people are not educated in this confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, people are involved with so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. Hmm. There are so many departure of knowledge all over the world and many huge universities. But there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of the spirit soul is instructed. Yet, the soul is the most important part of this body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. Hmm. The Bhagavad Gita, especially from the 2nd chapter on, stresses the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is perishable and that the soul is not perishable. Hmm. That is a confidential part of knowledge. Simply knowing that spirit soul is different from this body and that its nature is immutable, indestructible, and eternal. But that gives no positive information about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in a void and becomes impersonal. Hmm. But actually, that is not a fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? It is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active. And its activities in the spiritual kingdom are the most confidential part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of the spirit soul are therefore indicated here as constituting the king of all knowledge, the most confidential part of all knowledge. This knowledge is the purest form of all activities, as is explained in Vedic literature. In the Padma Purana, a man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be the result of sin after sin. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reaction. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the seed does not appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first a small sprouting plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers, bears fruit, and when it is complete, the flowers and fruits are enjoyed by the person who have sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs a sinful act, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. There are different stages. The sinful action may have already stopped within the individual, but the results of or the fruit of that sinful actions are still enjoyed. Hmm. There are sins which are still in the form of a seed, and there are others which are already fructified and are giving us fruit, which we are enjoying as distress and pain, as explained in the 20th verse of the 7th chapter. All right. A person who has completely ended the reactions of all sinful activities and who is fully engaged in pious activities, being free from the duality of this material world, becomes engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Was ended as no sinful activities, engaged in pious activity and being free from the okay. In other words, those who are actually engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord are already freed from all reactions. For those who are engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stalk or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. Hmm. Therefore, the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong, and it is called Pavitram Uttamam, the purest. Uttamam means transcendental. Tamas means the material world or darkness, and Uttamam means that which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional service are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears that devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. Hmm. One who can see and is familiar with devotional service, however, will know that they are not material activities. They are all spiritual and devotional, uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. Hmm. That the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived, and we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in course of time feels some transcendental pleasure and very quickly becomes purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen. Furthermore, if one engages not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional service as well, or if he engages himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. His advancement in spiritual life does not depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that by simply engaging in it, one becomes pure. Wow. The method itself is so pure that simply engaging in it, one becomes pure. In the Vedanta Sutra, this is also described in the following words Prakashascha karmani abhyashat. Devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in the activities of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. Narada, who happened to be a son of a maidservant, had no education, nor was he born into a high family. But when his mother was engaged in serving great devotees, Narada also became engaged. And sometimes, in the absence of his mother, he would serve the great devotees himself. Narada personally says, only once by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by doing so, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in the heart, and at the same time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. Wow. Narada personally says, only once by their permission I took the remnants of their food, and by doing so, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus, being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at that time, the very nature of the transcendentalist became attractive to me. Wow. Bhagavatam 1:5 or 25. Narada tells his disciple Vyasadeva that in a previous life, he was engaged as a boy servant of purified devotees during 4 months of their stay, and that he was intimately associating with them. Sometimes, those sages who left remnants of food on their dishes and the boy who would wash the dishes wanted to taste the remnants. So he asked the great devotees whether he could eat them, and they gave their permission. Narada then ate those remnants and consequently became freed from all sinful reactions. As he went on eating, he gradually became as pure hearted as the sages, and he gradually developed the same taste. The great devotees relished the taste of unceasing devotional service to the Lord, hearing, chanting, etc. And by developing the same taste, Narada wanted also to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Thus, by associating with the sages, wait. Service of the Lord, hearing, chanting, etc., and by developing the same taste, Narada wanted also to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Thus, by associating with the sages, he developed a great desire for devotional service. Therefore, he quotes from the Vedanta Sutra, Prakashascha karmani abhyashat. If one is engaged simply in the acts of devotional service, everything is revealed to him automatically and he can understand. This is called prakashaha, directly perceived. Oh, is it Manu Prabhu now? Oh, you said Manu Prabhu is back?
Is this true?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, I thought in the meeting, Prabhu.
Oh, same. Narada was actually a son of a maidservant. He had no opportunity to go to school. He was simply assisting his mother, and fortunately, his mother rendered some service to the devotees. The child Narada also got the opportunity, and simply by association, he achieved the highest goal of all religions, devotional service. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that religious people generally do not know that the highest perfection of religion is the attainment of the stage of devotional service. Wow, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that religious people generally do not know that the highest perfection of religion is the attainment of the stage of devotional service. Generally, Vedic knowledge is required for the understanding of the path of self realization. But here, although he was not educated in the Vedic principle, Narada acquired the highest result of Vedic study. Hmm. This process is so potent that even without performing the religious process regularly, one can be raised to highest perfection. How is this possible? This is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Acharyavan Purusho Veda, one who is in association with great acharyas, even if he is not educated in the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. The process of devotional service is a very happy one. Why? Devotional service consists of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnuho. So one can simply hear the chanting of the glories of the Lord or can attend philosophical lectures on transcendental knowledge given by the authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of the food offered to the Lord. Very nice, palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute. Oh, we can just scroll down, Prabhu. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty stricken condition. The Lord says, Patram Pushpam Palam. He is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what. Even a leaf, a flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are all available in every part of the world, can be offered by any person, regardless of social position, and will be accepted if offered with love. See, even a leaf, a flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are available every part of the world, can be offered by any person, regardless of social position, and will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history. Simply by tasting the tulasi leaves offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages like Sanat Kumara became great devotees. Therefore, the devotional process is very nice and it can be executed in a, you can just scroll down, Prabhu, happy mood. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosophers claim. They sometimes take to so called devotional service, and as long as they are not liberated, they continue their devotional service. But at the end, when they become liberated, they become one with God. Such temporary time serving devotional service is not accepted as pure devotional service. Actually, devotional service continues even after liberation. Hmm. When the devotee goes to the spiritual planet in the kingdom of God, he is also engaged there in serving the Supreme Lord. He does not try to become one with the Supreme Lord. As it will be seen, actual devotional service begins after liberation. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Brahma Bhutha, after being liberated or being situated in the Brahman position, one's devotional service begins. By executing devotional service, one can understand the Supreme Lord. No one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by executing Karma Yoga, Jnana, or Ashtanga Yoga, or any other yoga independently. Without coming to the stage of devotional service, one cannot understand what is the personality of Godhead. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed that when one becomes purified by executing the processes of devotional service, especially by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, then he can understand the signs of Krishna or the signs of God. Wow. Confirm when one purified by executing the process of devotional, especially hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, then he can understand the signs of Krishna or the signs of God. Evam prashanna manas. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha. When one's heart is cleansed of all nonsense, then one can understand what God is. Thus, the process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the king of all education and the king of all confidential knowledge. It is the purest form of religion and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. Very nice. Okay, I will read this as well. Ashradhadhana Purusha. Ashradhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Synonyms. Ashradhadanaha, those who are faithless. Purushaha, such person. Dharmasya, of this process of religion. Asya, of it. Parantapa, O killer of the enemies. Aprapya, without obtaining. Mam, me. Nivartante, come back. Mrityu, death. Samsara, material existence. Vartmani, on the path of. Translation. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. Purport. The faithless cannot accomplish this process of devotional service. That is the purport of this verse. Faith is created by association with devotees. Unfortunate people, even after hearing all the evidence of Vedic literature from great personalities, still have no faith. They are hesitant and cannot stay fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, faith is a most important factor for progress in Krishna consciousness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that one should have complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, he can achieve all perfection. That is called real faith. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 3.4.12, it is stated that by giving water to the root of a tree, its branches, twigs, and leaves become satisfied. And by supplying food to the stomach, all the senses of the body become satisfied. And similarly, by engaging in the transcendental service of the Supreme Lord, all the demigods and all the living entities automatically become satisfied. After reading Bhagavad Gita, one should promptly come to the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. One should give up all other engagements and adopt the service of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, the personality of Godhead. If one is convinced of this philosophy of life, that is faith. Now, the development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. There are three divisions of Krishna conscious men. In third class, in the third class are those who have no faith. If they engage in devotional service officially for some ulterior purpose, they cannot achieve the highest perfectional stage. Most probably, they will slip after some time. They may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activities as some people come and apply themselves to the Krishna consciousness with some hidden motive. And as soon as they're economically a little well to do, Probably you can scroll down. Well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It is only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness. Hmm. One who is well versed in the literature of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically have firm faith that Krishna Bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up. Thus, they are superior to the third class who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith, but by association and simplicity are trying to follow. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class or first class, he does not fall down. One in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the result at the end. As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction that devotional service to Krishna, then scroll down, Prabhu. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, as far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although that he has faith in conviction that the devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has no knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class persons in Krishna consciousness have some tendency towards karma yoga and jnana yoga, and sometimes they're disturbed. But as soon as the infection of karma yoga or jnana yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class persons in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided into three stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class attachment, second class attachment, and third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have no faith even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is very little hope in gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service. Haribo. And how to develop this faith? Faith is achieved in the association of devotees. Association of devotees key. Jai. Text 4.
Jai.
Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina mastani sarva bhutani nachaham tesh avakshitaha. Swami Prabhu, you can read, Prabhu. I have to buy something. Can you read?
Is there others? Oh, there is no others. Yes, Prabhu. Maybe Cake Prabhu has to read.
If Cake Prabhu can read, it'll be nice. If not, Swami Prabhu, you please read.
Yes, Prabhu. I'm in critical moment. 1 second. Okay, Haribol. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani na chaham te svavastita. Maya, by me, tatam spread, idam, all these manifestations, sarvam, all, jagat, cosmic manifestation, avyaktamurtina, unmanifested form, madstani, unto me, sarva bhutani, all living entities, nanat, cha, also, aham, I, te, shu, in them, avashtita, situated. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded, all beings are in me, but I am not in them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not perceivable through the gross material senses. It is said that Lord Sri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Brahman Jana Churita Bhaktivi. Oh, wait, 1 second. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself if he has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, he is not visible. Yes, Prabhu. Here it is said that although he is all pervading, everywhere present, he is not conceivable by the material senses, but actually, although we cannot see him, where are we? Everything is resting in him. As we have discussed in the 7th chapter, the entire material cosmic manifestation is only a combination of these two different energies, the superior spiritual energy and the inferior material energy. Just as the sunshine is spread all over the universe, the energy of the Lord is spread all over the creation, and everything is resting in that energy. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such arguments, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. For example, king heads a government which is but the manifestation of the king's energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but energies of the king, and each department is resting on the king's power. But still one cannot expect the kings to be present in every department personally. That is a crude example. Similarly, all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists both in the material world and in the spiritual world are resting on the energy of the Supreme Person of Godhead. The creation takes place by the diffusion of his different energies, and as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, he is everywhere present by his personal representation, the diffusion of his different energies. Haribo. Okay, Kartik Prabhu, you can read next one.
Prabhu, I have to buy, Prabhu. I have to actually go now.
Okay, 1 second, I need to put the cream.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu, I have to actually go now. Thank you for your association. Vancha Kalpuru, Best Kribas, Bevesha Padidanam, Bhavani, Beveshna, Namo Namaha. Thank you, Pranjal Prabhu. Thank you. Bevesha Padidanam, Bhavani, Beveshna, Namo Namaha.
Okay, Prabhu, read the 6 Astakam prayers in your mind.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Haribol. Thank you.
Haribol. Thank you so much, Pranjal Prabhu, for scrolling. Okay, now I need to finish the cooking. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Haribol.